Science is having a huge limitation because its structure is based upon what we can see through the senses. Senses don't tell me that this planet is going through space at a speed of 30 kilometers per second. And eagle lays an egg amongst a hen, and the baby eagle grows with the hen and tries to become a good hen. and everyone is complaining, this is a funny looking hen, but you know something more. You have to use the wings, discover the sky, prove the eagle to yourself. And first principle is that this physical world is not our world. There are all clues for that. One big clue is that we have a guaranteed exit, and lower consciousness is the enemy of the higher consciousness. Because if you wake up to the higher, the lower consciousness dies. So inside of each one, there is a battle. You use the word Adi Sanatan. And the foundation of Adi Sanatan, original, eternal, it is eternal. Eternal, our truth. And the greatness, it is disproportionately different we are talking about. It is not just another religion. Disproportionately different level. And that level is possible if we are at a higher consciousness. With this lower consciousness, we cannot be extraordinary.
Hello, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Vadakkam and Jai Agwich. My name is Yogi Raj and you're watching eYogi Talk Show. In 1936, there is an organization called Brahmakumaris was established by Lala Lekh Raj, or also known as Babaji. Since then, this organization has grown so big that it has 8,500 centers across the globe in 180 plus countries. The organization has millions of followers, and it has thousands of volunteers and hundreds of speakers. I am really fortunate today that one of the prominent speakers of this organization, Dr. Prashant Kakoday ji, is going to join us for this talk, where he is going to explain the connection between science and spirituality, how to apply the basic principles of Brahmakumaris, and also in general the spirituality in our daily life, how to find this whole materialistic world, how to dissect it further in terms of consciousness, what we are, who am I, where am I, what am I, all that kind of questions I'm going to ask him, and he's going to answer in a very simple and plain manner that an ordinary person can understand this. His background is medicine. He is an ENT surgeon. He has joined Royal College of Surgeons since 1980s, and he's living there in UK from last 40 plus years. If you like this video, subscribe it and press the bell icon so that next video reaches to you on the time. So let's start a talk with Dr. Prashant Kakoday ji. Namaskar Prashant ji.
Yes.
Welcome to eYogi Talk Show. It's so pleasure to see you today, and the session you did earlier was simply amazing meditation. I think you also finished with some of the people. So thanks for joining this talk. I am very much inspired with the link of Indian spirituality with science, and the modern science is kind of nowadays coming to the same conclusion because they cannot find this this consciousness in the materialistic things. So the first question I'm going to ask you, it's for my own benefit as well, that who am I? What is this consciousness?
Well, thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be in this country and to be in this gathering also, and to be in part of this interview. The subject of I, it is discussed in philosophy and in spiritual world, but also in science world. But one very practical and rational way and the word that helps me understand this is the experiencer. The one, wherever there is an experience, there is you.
Yes.
So if the experience is not happening, then there is not me. So when Kant said, that and the basic these questions, they exist from the early days, and Descartes, his position, we think therefore we exist. I think therefore I exist. In Latin, when it is translated, the original meaning also has a interpretation. I experience, therefore I exist.
Ah, okay. Okay. So this I is the experiencer.
Yeah.
I is the experiencer. So when we look at from the modern science, like what I see nowadays in the last 20 years, there's enormous basically focus and studies happening in the understanding consciousness. They're talking more about consciousness these days. Why do you think this Western world is now kind of early days it used to believe like everything is all materialistic approach towards life, but now trying to kind of separate that this experience it is separate than materialistic things?
Yeah. Science is having a huge limitation because its structure is based upon what we can see through the senses. It can study what, and our senses have limitations. Our senses don't give us the complete information, and sometimes it gives us the wrong information. For example, senses don't tell me that this planet is going through space at a speed of 30 kilometers per second.
Yeah.
Right now, we all are zooming through space at a speed of 30 kilometers a second, at this speed. But my senses don't tell me.
No.
Senses tell me that we are very stable here. So senses don't give us the right information. And at many levels, we don't have senses that even some other animals have. Like those who deal with cats and dogs, they know that sometimes your dog knows more than yourselves. So they have other senses which we do not have, and science cannot do anything about this.
Yes.
Many things of this kind, if research is done, like there are academics who are setting up research projects and do research on telepathy and things of that kind, and then the mainline science says it is very good research, but we cannot do anything about this. So just because it is not verified through my senses. And then it gets discarded. That whole area gets discarded. And the consciousness is such an area which is not in the physical spectrum. We cannot experience it through my senses. I can't see it in the laboratory. So it intrigues scientists, but at the same time, it is an embarrassment for science. Yes. The consciousness.
Because they can't explain nowadays they can't even deny it. Because
they can't deny.
Yeah. Because they can't find this I in this whole body. Yeah. So the next question on the same front, what I want to ask you, that if that scientists right today, when they can't explain, is there a realization in this Western world, specifically in Indian world, there is always a kind of a very good combination of spirituality and science together, even though science does not take this into account. There are enough people in the society who acknowledge the consciousness because of the ancient wisdom. Do you think there is this drive going on? Because with this whole yoga and meditation thing, there is so much going on into this Western world. Do you think down the road, the Western world is trying that making an effort to understand this consciousness or spreading more knowledge or trying to adopt this spiritual way of living life?
What happens is there will be more interest in the level of consciousness, but it stays at the academic level. It doesn't go further than that, at least in the large majority of people. And even in the Eastern world, where there is spirituality, even there may be even lifestyle of spirituality, but the big benefit of spirituality is not taken by the East as well.
Yes.
It stops at a certain point. And the big benefit of spirituality is a huge shift from where we are to another level. And then to wake up to that other level, it means I have to renounce things at a lower level. I have to let go. Sometimes we use this analogy of there is an ant hill. There are ants, and the ants are very, very busy full time. There was duties and promotions and going on. There is opportunities of new sticky sugar has arrived.
Yeah.
So all the ants are busy, and some ants want to become a big ant. So there is a lot going on there. But they don't even know that there is a sky. And there is a reality of that. There are starlings, enjoying the sky. And there is a whole world beyond. They are oblivious to it. They just are busy, trying to gather more sticky sugar and trying to become a big ant in the ant world. Our human race, when we are at that lower consciousness, we are at that level, in the ant hill, and there are some opportunities. New sticky sugar has arrived, and prospect of becoming a big ant in the ant world. And then some ants can become a holy ant there, and then there will be some holy corner within it, and many other ants might come to worship them and praise them. That might go on, but to realize that there is a sky beyond, and to be one of the eagles of the sky, you have to renounce the sticky sugar and this huge opportunity to become a big ant. You have to renounce all of it. So that is where the real challenge comes. Most people use even spirituality to be, quite holy ant, at the holy corner.
Yes.
Within the ant.
No, it's very interesting actually. The way we see spirituality. Yeah, what you're saying is basically that there is more awareness onto it, and in the Eastern world also, the understanding of that is not. It's just at the probably surface level, where majority of it is in rites and rituals and all that. It just sticks to that level, and then what we are doing here is that the Western world is very much with this new term called artificial intelligence. Got fascinated. And there is, you can see clearly from ChatGPT to many other things they have started now. And the computer program is really good. And when I do myself, try something into it, type some specific things, it gives a very good result, which is basically in my mind. So it's telling me that it's capturing all the information, whatever they have fed into it and whatever is available onto the World Wide Web. And then it gives you the outcome of it. Is there a potential? This question comes all the time. Is there at some point this AI is going to be conscious as well?
In our thinking, no, because it is still at the level of matter, and matter has its properties, and then like these wires. These wires can do wonderful thing, and can amplify the sound, but they cannot come with an original ideas. They can even process the old ideas and come out with some combination of new ideas, what is there. But the experiencer is not in these microphones. Experiencer is at that invisible conscious level. And that is where the AI will stop. It cannot experience.
It cannot experience. It will not have feelings and emotions.
No.
It will
it can talk about peace, and it can talk about love. It can organize flowers to be delivered.
Yeah.
But it cannot experience love.
It can give you, okay, yes, understood from that side, that it cannot experience that. Then many times I think myself as well, right? This is that as a human, I'm born in this planet, and I see this whole materialistic world, and then we call spiritual world. Why am I here then? Why, as a human, I'm here? What is my purpose then?
We are, once in a simple language, we can say these experiencers, the invisible experiencers, are souls. And that is what the real players are. They are like here is the invisible player, and using the body. Body is just like a shoe that is used for a more complicated, apparatus used by the player. And the player is invisible, and using this mouth and ears and eyes, everything to get information, to express. But the player is the invisible player. And we all are players. this all these souls, we are potentially players. We have our world beyond. Our world is eternal, and it is a world of silence. This physical world is a huge and rich PlayStation.
Yeah.
Extraordinary, the immensely beautiful PlayStation. Within this there are colors and images and mountains, rivers. This is the PlayStation. And just like any player, say, some, present day, football player, let us say, Saka, and he scored a goal in a recent, so Saka, you tell him, I'm going to give you a very good home and very good place and comforts and cushions, but no play anymore. That is not his life. He's a player. And so he's happy to have the good home, comfortable home, but there comes a time he wants to go out to play. And he knows beforehand when he goes out to play, he will get tired and he may, even get injured, and he may get a score, he may get a red card. He knows that. That is what the game is about. But he wants to play because he's a player. And he doesn't want to stay on the field forever. He wants to play, he wants to come back home. In the same way, we are all eternal souls. We have an eternal home, perfect home, absolutely safe home. But we also need a field to play. And that is why we come in the physical level to play. And the body is like a, in bat that we use, and we are coming into this physical world to experience, express. The play is going on, and we don't want to stay here forever because it is not meant like that. We play. There is a time we come back home. So to come here is not a sin. It is part of the way the nature is. We have a home and we come here to play. But at some point things can go wrong in the play. If the player comes here and if he forgets that this is a play even, and he gets into some confusion, when the ball comes, he says, I want to catch this ball, I want to collect this ball. And then there is no play, and everyone wants that ball. Then it becomes a war. We can change the play into a war just by our confusion. When we know our home, and when we know the PlayStation as a PlayStation, and the play as a play, and our players here, then there is not attitude that you want to catch the ball and you have to claim the ball. That is not the attitude. You are playing, you leave the ball there, you go back home. So same here on this larger level. When we are fully conscious and when we first come here, we have not forgotten our world. We have not forgotten that we are players and eternally safe. And we have not forgotten that we are invisible. We have not forgotten that this is a play. And there was that lightness. Play means there is lightness. You play to win, but you also know to lose. You also know to fall. So that is the way we came. At some point, we have crossed the line and our consciousness has dropped. And when consciousness has dropped, we are emotionally disconnected from our real world, including ourselves. We are emotionally disconnected. And then the play world, we have changed it into war.
So how do I, basically, if I am the player, what is the method to know my own nature then? Is that meditation? How do I know my own true nature then?
Meditation and knowledge, so some simple model, once a rational model. Say like you are understanding, okay, if this is the way it is, that this is a temporary world where we come, the PlayStation, and this body is not me, it is an instrument I'm using. There is the confusion factor, so it is like a coming out of that confusion, and invisible player wakes up, and that practice, so that is like deliberate, very clear, specific practice is required, where the invisible player becomes the observer of this body. In other words, he steps one step behind. In this confusion, he mixes. He doesn't even know who I am and what is not mine. There is a confusion. So he creates that clarity in himself. And right now, like you and me, we are the invisible players associated with the body. Just as you may be using a car, or you may be using a bat, and the player is different to the bat, driver is different to the car. In the same way, the players here, invisible players, are so different to the body and everything. So this is like a knowledge part of it, the rational understanding. But then to come in the experience of it, and more you are creating that experience, we can call it meditation.
Okay.
But that then leads to your understanding your original qualities that will follow those.
Okay.
And the original qualities, every human being is very noble. In other words, everyone, human as well as all life, when they are fully conscious, they are divine beings. All are good, immensely good. Their nature has changed because we have crossed a line.
Okay. Okay.
We have lost our clarity.
So if I am the player, like, I just need to realize this. But then there is a kind of thought, that people you meet everyday life, a lot of people don't even believe in any of this materialistic, like this spiritual approach. They just simply say, I wake up in the morning, I do my job, and I basically whatever do, come home, live my life peacefully. I have no problem this. I'm just happy with my materialistic way of life. So to those people, basically, if some people are saying that the materialistic approach works for me, and then we start advocating that it has a limit. So where do you see these? Like there's a dilemma, like even if I pick my 10 friends, out of that, like half will say, I'm happy, whatever, I'm materialistic approach. But at some point in their life, they do realize that, that this whole materialistic thing has not given them when the stress, anxiety thing kicks in. So what is beyond this materialistic? Like if you want to tell to these people that there is something beyond this materialistic approach, and this materialistic approach cannot make you happy forever.
Yeah. One is that, and it may even make one happy, all their lives. Yeah. But question is, do they want to stay in the ant hill all the life? And the new kind of sticky sugar coming, very exciting life.
Yes. Yeah, new iPhone 2000.
Yeah,
right.
So do you want to stay at that level? Then why not? That is the choice. But there is the sky, option of the sky, and you are offering that option of the sky. But one law in this nature, we are very much hardwired to behave like a herd. All human beings, we behave like a herd. Just like in a herd, if 100 sheep are going in one direction, others will also join them. They will go in the same direction. So here, what happens is, everyone is following the herd. They will stay in the ant world because everyone is running after sticky sugar. But in such a world, if one flies, one is using the wings and understands the sky and becomes a starling of the sky. One flies, second flies, then the whole flock flies. And the game is like that. So at the if I want to discuss with the people, that will be almost, as you said, out of 100 people, 99 may not be even understanding or want to know anything. But if you fly, and if you are using the wings and you are discovering the sky, and someone else might want to know the sky and discovers the sky, it starts the process. One flies, second flies, then the whole flock flies.
Yes. Very interesting, actually. I'm trying to digest all this. So, then, you know, I just bought S23 Samsung phone. Next year, probably S24 coming already here. Then S25. Then basically TV I have. I want next TV. So it's basically the comforts. The modern technology has given us the comfort and conveniences of life. It also gives us some sort of happiness as well. But is that happiness what I get from the materialistic approach? Can it last long or not? Or if it doesn't last long, then at what point I should realize, I need to that move, cross over to something beyond materialistic things.
Yes, the real question for everyone is, do I want to experiment the sky? And that is the real question. But as regards our ordinary life here, what really happens with people, more we are taking support from here, at this level, more we get trapped at this in this world, and more we become dependent upon things of this world. And then some changes happen, you find you are not prepared for the changes. Even compared to the past generation, today's generation, some psychologists say we are low serotonin society.
Okay.
Which means we are becoming more dependent and more addicted to more things.
Yes.
Compared to even last generation.
It is.
In last 60 years, we have got now, compared to, we got a lot more, technology and a lot more science. And then some statistics says that most cities in the world have got 8 times more prosperity today compared to 60 years ago.
Wow.
So people can afford a lot more things.
Yes.
60 years ago, not many people easily can fly to another country and go on holidays. And now foreign travel is easy.
Easy, very easy.
And cheap also. So lots of those options are given to the present generation. But are we 8 times more happy? The answer is no.
No.
The statistics tells that we are 4 times more depressed. There is 30 times more violence.
My goodness.
There's 200 times more teenage addictions. There's 7 times more cirrhosis of liver over the same period of time, which means there is something going wrong.
Yeah, we are getting comfort, conveniences, but not the happiness.
Not happiness. Yeah.
Not happiness.
Yeah. And this, in the medical world, one question arises. Failure of success. This is the term that is used. Where is this failure coming from? It's like, to have more technology is success, and to have more prosperity is success, more science, more freedom, and we are getting more problems.
Yeah.
So they say failure of success, and the reason is we are not approaching this world with inner strength. When the true self itself is not recognized, that self-respect is not at a right level, then the ego within us, the wrong side of us, is in this involved with all this technology and all. Technology is not wrong, prosperity is not wrong, but which part of me is dealing with it? And at present, the higher self is not in charge of ourselves. The lower self is in charge. And that is what is getting bigger. And that is the reason we have more problems. As we go down the line, there will be more problems. Because more the success, the more our lower self is getting nourished. One nice way, we were mentioning in today's discussion, John Lennon, he gets success, he gets praise, he gets prosperity, and he says, my life is a torture.
Yes.
In that statement. So all this success comes. Why life is a torture? Because all this success is gobbled up by the lower consciousness, lower self. there is more detailed understanding of this, but lower self, this is a good enough word. It also means, we need to first know, this is such a useful thing for adults, but children, everyone to know that there is another side of us, the higher self, and we need to first bring that higher self, make it conscious, so that all the things that are coming in our life is dealt with by the higher self. We want to make the higher self. It is almost like, um, which direction. If I am having very powerful car, but in the wrong direction, I will more power it is. I am going in I'm creating more problem to myself. But more powerful car, if it is kept in the right direction, then whatever the power and whatever the speed, I'm going higher up. At the moment, our positioning is downward.
Downward, yes.
So all the success that is coming takes us at a speed in a lower direction, in the wrong direction. We need an education in this, and that is a clear understanding, but still it needs to reach more people. How we can come to that higher self, at least the basics, and as you were saying before, some rational understandings, the introduction to basic spirituality, and understand clearly what is this higher self. And at least if we are giving option to individuals to direct our journey in the right direction. So whatever wind that is coming, taking us higher up.
So when I look at, I'm an Indologist, I call myself. I study Indian scripture. So our journey, which started from Vedas, then Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Puran, and thousands of yoga texts and all that. When I see the journey of Indian knowledge system, like how it evolved from Vedas all the way in, at least easily we can say, more than 6,000 to 8,000 years in the time history. Our rishis, when they discovered all that, our scientific literature was growing as well. There was enormous research was going in science, mathematics, and many aspects, astronomy, astrology, medicine, Ayurveda comes. So Indian rishis, on one hand, they hold on to the spirituality until like today, and same time they were making huge progress on in the field of science. So to me, what looked like the Indian model was working really well. But when I look at that with the Western perspective, specifically when we look today, right, it's like the NASA. They want to reach Mars 2030. If they have 10,000 people working and then other vendors working for them, they're working round the clock. And these people who want to send the probe man to Mars, none of them probably, or majority of them, are not happy, but they want to basically still reach. While for last millions of years, there was no desire. But now we have to send this probe in next couple of years. So the question I have is that on one hand, there is an Indian knowledge system model which says whatever materialistic approach you have, spirituality should be linked with it. On the Western side, what we see is only and only majority of time materialistic approach. How do we educate? How do we tell them that this is the key? First, obviously, learning ourselves. Can you give some perspective, since you have lived outside India so much long?
Yeah, it is such a very useful thing to grapple with. And as you also said, we ourselves need to know this with authority. We need to come in the experience of it. At an immediate level, we need to experience the true self ourselves. We need to know if it is totally congruent with the understanding, the experience of it. Am I just knowledge, or am I experiencing
as well? Yeah.
What happens with the scriptures? There are Eastern, Western, all the scriptures. Well, bit like say someone writes a book on how to drive a car. And this is written by one person, say. It can be in the last 10 years. It is written by one person, how to ride a car. And then that book is translated into another language, and it is going through the hands of some other people. And some people have not seen the car, but they are reading the book, they are understanding something there, they are translating into another language. It is passed to another person. And then many people have not seen the car at all, but they are studying the book. And then some people have deleted some chapters from that, and some people have added their own part.
Yeah.
And then that the manual reaches me. How much can I rely upon that manual to give me the authoritative insight into driving the car? There is a question there. Same thing happens to anything that is coming from the past. There is some caution we need to have. There is lots of information there, but how much of it is really, really practical, is meant to be what it was meant. Is it really the way it is available today? And how to, and translation, it is translated. We rely so much on the translator.
We do.
Sometimes I notice this, I'm speaking something and it gets translated into Portuguese or Russian, some other any language, but I'm here giving the example of Portuguese. And then one friend of ours retranslates what was now the computers can retranslate, retranslate it back into English. It is completely different meaning, and these are good translators. And then you are hearing back what is there, and it is some simple things are distorted. More refined things, more subtle things get distorted even more. You know what I mean? Because if you have not experienced it, how do you translate? Like, for example, the word dharma, in Sanskrit word dharma. Dharma existed in India when there were no other religions. And so they used the word dharma. And one meaning of dharma was ethics. It is not you are Muslim or Christian or Hindu. It is not like that. It was ethics, and don't let go of your dharma means don't let go of your ethics. And system of ethics. And now that same word gets translated into so many other words. Sometimes in the translation of Gita, I hear it as nature. Prabhupada translates it as nature. In another place it is translated as religion, and people understand it differently. Same way, this is what is bound to happen through the generations. The meaning gets distorted, and these are such refined matters. Hindi is not my original language, and I learned Hindi so that I can understand some words that are spoken properly. Because I couldn't rely upon the translator, good translators, but I couldn't rely upon the way it was translated. Some subtle meaning, it gets changed, and you lose the whole message, and you are in a different track sort of thing. So there is that factor. But in such a word, still it is possible for us to come in the experience. And once you come in the experience, you have authoritative insight on the subject, and that is of great value. Once you know, and what we are saying so far, the aspect of, and then when you read the scripture, you know which aspect has value and which aspect maybe not. Because it may be distorted.
Maybe not relevant today.
Not be relevant today. Or maybe even distorted on way. The translation is distorted at some point. But there is some value. So that discrimination is necessary to bring the quality to get a real benefit for ourselves and get a real benefit for others.
I am an Indian, right? I grew up there, and it's like, I have drank the nectar, and I know there is a value to this spirituality. Today, people are, even Western people, they're going for kirtans, like a very simple thing, which we never heard of people doing. the intermittent fasting, which is a version of our like an upavas or vrat or fasting, what we used to do. Like that, the Ayurveda is slowly coming into the world. All the Hollands and Barretts of the world, they're trying to grapple to all this knowledge. So if I'm an Indian like you, who has the knowledge, skills, and expertise in this field, what should be role? Because there are 32 million NRIs living outside India. It's a huge number. So if somebody is watching our podcast today, what will be your message to them?
Yeah, sure. And on one level, I would say they are in a very fortunate position to know the East and the West.
Yes,
that kind of
exactly.
thing.
They're in the middle. Right?
Yeah. And this, because sometimes those who are in the West, they feel they are missing out something.
Yes.
Those who are in the East, they feel they are missing something else. You have seen
Both sides of the world.
Both sides, what this world has to offer. You know it. And in other words, you know the anthill.
Yes.
What it has got to offer.
Yes.
And now is a time to understand and explore what exists.
Yes. Beyond. Not
East, not West. Go beyond. That is, and we have the ability for that, and it is almost like, we are from the sky. If I can use that metaphor, we are from the sky. We have got at this level, present level, thinking that we are from the anthill, and Bharat has a part to play in this. Those from Bharat, the biggest thing we can offer to the world is this shift of our consciousness and making it easy for the rest of the world.
Yes.
We need to going to the Mars and going to the moon. That is, we are following someone else.
Exactly.
It is not a big achievement.
Yeah.
Some of my relations are connected with that. The research, NASA and all, and they say this is empty. There is nothing to achieve other than just the ego. Some political stunt. That look at this. We have achieved. We have gone to the Mars. This kind of thing.
It's like it's totally true, because sometimes I say, what is wrong in slowing down? If you slow down, say for example, they're putting a goal in next 10 years to go reach Mars. If they have 10,000 employees working, hundreds of thousands of vendors working, everybody is driven crazy day and night just to go Mars. They come home unhappy. Their families are unhappy. What will happen if you don't reach to Mars in 10 years?
Yes.
Right. What about 50 years?
Yeah. And if you, but there are many other things that can be done at this level, to improve the lot of people here. But if there is at an individual level, those who are listening to us, if they understand that silently they make this research in themselves, discovering the sky. I'm talking here with analogy, but they have to, each one has to interpret this, what it means, And I like this image, in a story form.
Yeah.
And eagle lays an egg amongst a hen, and the baby eagle grows with the hen, and tries to become a good hen. And everyone is complaining, this is a funny looking hen. And one day this hen looks at another eagle in the sky. He says, what is that in the sky? I say, that is king of the birds. That is from the sky. But we are birds of the land. We are chicken. We should scratch around, And so this eagle stays in the chicken run and scratching around and complaining about other chicken. This is the story of human beings.
Yes.
We all are from the sky.
Yes.
We all have got wings, but we are in some company. Everyone telling each other you are a chicken and staying there. So sometimes I ask a question. If this eagle goes to a therapist and therapist says, chicken therapist. The therapist says, you are an eagle. You don't look like a chicken, but get another opinion.
Yeah.
So I say, this eagle should not take another opinion. All that it has got is a hint.
Yes.
You know, just see it as a hint. He
Yes.
told you that you may be eagle, even.
Yeah.
Not even you are an eagle. You may be eagle, just a hint. That hint is enough. Now start using the wings.
Yes.
Discover the sky yourselves. Prove the eagle to yourself. Then no one will be able to tell you are the chicken. Or they can continue to tell you you are the chicken, but you know something more. You have to use the wings, discover the sky, prove the eagle to yourself, experience the sky. This option is there to each and everyone. We just need to realize that we are not from the chicken run.
From chicken run. So now, if I am a person out there, ordinary person living a life, like, I have a family and, kids and everything, and I want to start this my own journey. I didn't know much about it. And today I happen to watch your podcast. What are the few steps would you give them? Initial steps, saying, do this, number 1, number 2, number 3.
Oh, right, very good. First number one step for anyone is to know simple principles. And first principle is that this physical world is not our world.
Okay.
There are all clues for that.
Yes.
One big clue is that we have a guaranteed exit, and it is without my permission.
Very true. Very true.
So that is enough of the clue that this is not our world.
Yeah.
This is a foreign world. And if I am a foreign, it means the real me.
Yeah.
I am a guest in this world.
Yeah.
I am not part of it. And if I am a guest, let me experience being the guest.
Yes.
What does this guest mean? It is a good thing. Guest, at any place, guest is the one who has a good life.
Yeah, he
good
enjoys everything.
Yeah, he has freedom, he appreciates more things, he has gratitude compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
It's a guest who feels even more secure. They've got nothing to lose. Nothing wrong in being a guest. But that is true. And we need to build foundation on truth. So to be a guest on this planet, that positioning, and to experience this even for a few minutes, many times in a day, what it means. And guest on this planet, which really means guest cannot own anything from you. The guest cannot own a single atom from here.
Yeah.
So he really is the invisible guest. All the materialistic level is part of this world. And it is all fine. But he is at most a trustee of this. This and this. And I'm trustee of this for maybe a few minutes. Trustee of this for a bit longer. But I'm a trustee here. Who says it? The invisible guest. An invisible guest is the observer. To play with it, and more you are creating time in this experience, many other things will follow that will lead to other experiences, because the guest is very, very secure. He finds himself, he is experiencing a mind where there is no reason for sorrow. Sorrow comes because of me breaking the law in this foreign world. I'm claiming things, the guest, he understands that he doesn't own a single atom of this world. He's got nothing to lose. And he discovers a mind where there is no reason for sorrow. And many other things will follow. That leads to other things. When we are in this lower consciousness, we all have got this mindset of a victim. We have forgotten I'm a guest. I'm claiming things, and then I'm going to lose and I'm going to die. So everyone has got a mindset of a victim, potential victim. And victims are all the time, looking for dangers. So they go and it festers positive, negative emotions. When you step back from that, even for a few minutes, as I said, you are a guest. You discover you are never a victim. Many, many things happen. You can't be a victim. And what is interesting, when you remove this victim mentality, it doesn't remain neutral. You remove the inner victim mentality. It doesn't become just neutral. it becomes noble personality.
Okay.
Our resting personality is very royal, very noble. Naturally, he is happy. Natural experiences of love and contentment. Happiness comes with friends. You discover that natural state is of fullness and richness. All you have done is remove the victim. We are talking about temporary. You are experimenting with this, and you straight away start getting these results. But even if you are doing it for few minutes, go for quality during those minutes. Really become the guest. The guest means for few minutes you are saying, I don't own one atom of this world. If it's a foreign word, I can't own anyone, I can't own anything. We have created a culture of deception. We are all deceived into believing with this. Just like someone goes to North Korea and starts saying, this is my land and this is my... He can believe in what he likes. We are in this North Korea of this planet.
Yes.
And suddenly there is an exit, and he is creating this huge belief. So during lifetime, you are coming back to this position. Just experiment, for a few minutes, repeatedly. An invisible guest on this planet, and that positioning is the right position. You are still with things. You are not running away. After 4 minutes, you can go and say, this is all mine. But during those 4 minutes, you are saying, not one atom is mine. And it gives you the experience of the richness of the soul.
Yes.
And that guides you to the next level. As was said, to really come in the experience, and experience is authority. Like in the Gita, every chapter almost, I would say, but many times in every chapter, become soul conscious. And Atma, a reference to Atma, they are Atma. And the various things we are saying, it is there in the Gita. My wife, my this, become free from that. Own nothing. You don't own a home and a wife and child. Just understand internally, you are at most a trustee. Even the body is not mine. For a few minutes, come into this experience that in this world, we are not from this world. So how can I claim anything from this world? I experiment with this. And when you are experimenting with this, that will give the experiences of other areas, and that will help you understand our scriptures better.
Very good, actually. That's really nice to hear, how it links with Gita as well. So now the last part, I want to ask you this question around, since you are connected with Brahmakumari, and Brahmakumari is doing a phenomenal job in awakening people about this spirituality in the East and also in the West. So can you give us a quick glance of Brahmakumaris, and then basically if somebody wants to connect with Brahmakumaris, so how do they do?
And the philosophy of understanding of this. One can see that there are many institutions worldwide who are charitable institutions, and I would say even governments. They are aiming to do good for the population. And in a small place like Cambridge, with population of 140,000 people, we have got more than 1,000 voluntary organizations.
Wow.
Yeah, you get an idea. And registered, which means these are the people who are working for sometimes animals, stray cats, stray dogs, and some different kinds of handicaps, different kinds, but there are more than 1,000, So it must be same with the many places, many cities. The instinct of human being is to be useful to others, but we help others to the level we have helped ourselves. If I have more knowledge about some things, I can be helping others at another level. What happens with human beings? We were saying just now that human beings have got this higher consciousness. We are eagles, and they are thinking they're chicken, that kind of thing. And with the teacher of Brahmakumaris, yeah, we use the word Baba, and in that very clear, 100% focus on the eagle. He says everyone is an eagle. We have to see the eagle, help the eagle. It is unconscious that our higher consciousness is as if is not conscious, out is asleep, at that level. So it creates another challenge, and lower consciousness is the enemy of the higher consciousness. Because if you wake up to the higher, the lower consciousness dies. So inside of each one, there is a battle. He wants to stay at the lower level. Because
he doesn't want to come more liberated.
Because no one wants to die.
Yes.
That lower level, he doesn't say, okay, you go, and I'm going to die. So there is a battle, inside each one. And ordinarily, all the institutions, governments, they are not thinking of the higher consciousness. They work at that level, the lower consciousness. But that actually prevents them from experiencing the higher consciousness. One way you can say that differentiates the institution, and that may be the task of many religions when we start. Our starting position is that, and you use the word Adi Sanatan, and the foundation of Adi Sanatan, original, eternal, it is eternal, eternal, our truth, and the greatness, it is disproportionately different we are talking about.
Yes.
It is not just another religion. Disproportionately different level. And that level is possible if we are at a higher consciousness. With this lower consciousness, we cannot be extraordinary. So that at that higher level, it is silent. That consciousness is silent. We are seeing the world outside. That is the world we are seeing. And we might use the word dharma at this level. But the deeper silent change that is happening is a shift of consciousness. And that is where the focus is, attention is on ourselves and getting that for others.
Okay.
But also each one also need to know that the worst enemy for us is not anyone outside, but our own lower consciousness.
So far we talked about this consciousness. It's amazing that the word is becoming so popular. But then during our talks, we were talking. You were talking about lower consciousness and higher consciousness. Is there any kind of analogy, or so that the ordinary people can understand this?
Yeah, sure. In the last 30 years, we have got computer games, and more and more people are playing computer games, adults and younger generation. And certain percentage of people who play computer games, they get drawn into the game to such a level that they ignore their physical world. World Health Organization is using a new term, and a diagnostic term, and it is emotional disconnect because of gaming. And what they mean by that is computer games is creating emotional disconnect.
Okay.
And when you speak to psychologists who are seeing these people, they say they not just they are busy and they don't have time for the parents. They, as if parents don't exist for them. They are really disconnected.
Okay.
They are disconnected from their job, their world, and some of them even ignore their body. They are completely,
that level of disconnect.
They are disconnected even from themselves, this kind of thing. So they don't go to the toilet, they don't eat, and some have died also as a result. So this is the kind of situation that's happened because of the computer game. But it is nothing wrong with the computer game, but the individuals are getting drawn into it, sucked into it, and getting disconnected from their world. Now, this is exactly what we are seeing, this power of this secondary world, or the game world, how it can draw them to the lower consciousness, still another lower consciousness. What the spiritual knowledge tells us, that this is exactly what has happened to all of us. That higher consciousness was our normal consciousness, and we come into this game. We said we are players. We come into the play. It is nice. The PlayStation is nice, but we belong to our world, But then time comes, we are drawn into this game more and more. The games are becoming more sophisticated. Just like other computer games become more sophisticated. This world then has power to pull these players, invisible players, who are the invisible souls, and until they are disconnected from their world, disconnected from their true family, disconnected from themselves. And now they are living in this secondary world. The game has become their world. And now we can understand how we reached here. The scale of it is quite enormous. One of the senior person in this field, his name is Rich, based in Arizona. And he comes to Cambridge, from time to time. And he is pioneer in this computer game, in the research field. And he attends some of our programs in the retreats in Cambridge. At least we are in touch in the last few months. And what he's saying, that he knew that this will happen, that this world will, they see it like this. This is like a computer world kind of thing, game, and it will happen. But what he was surprised to hear, that it has already happened.
That's what we talk about this all the time, that AI, I used to believe artificial intelligence is like some kind of thing which will come in 30, 40, 50 years. It's already at 5. Right now there is apps like Midjourney where you just type, I want to create a photo image of this, and next moment photo comes. And you will be amazed, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And now, imagine that now, and they're working 10 years ahead. So in 50, 100 years, what the technology will be, oh my God, it's another level altogether. Right now, we are in Ireland and UK, there's an enormous presence we have already in here. If somebody wants to connect to Brahmakumaris, how do they do it?
The website is a very, very good area. In Dublin, we got a main headquarters, coordinating and the teachers here. But I was very pleased to see that in the country there is representation and possibilities to meet other practitioners. But the website would be the right place.
To start.
And there will be telephone number also. We will give the telephone number of the place.
Okay. Very good. Actually, it was very enlightening talk. We talked about so many things. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and so I hope our audience will like this talk as well. So with this, if you have any last words, welcome. Otherwise, we are going to close the talk.
Yeah, I like this expression, and again from the spiritual knowledge. Our aim is perfection, and the method for that is perfection. in other words, start this now. We do not say just live in the present, but experience perfection in the present.
Yes. So with these words, that is what we saw. Dr. Prashant Kakoday ji, thank you so much for joining Yogi Talks. Namaste.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.